over until every single hostage comes home.
Let's get reaction from Dr. Efrat Sopher, Chair of the Board of Advisors at the Ezri Centre for Iran and Gulf States Research at Haifa University in Israel. Thanks for being with us on LBC News. Good afternoon.
Thanks for having me on, Andrew. Thanks.
What's your reaction to what's happened today so far?
Well, it's been a very important day for Israel. Israel values life, and we see these four young girls, these soldiers being released. The country is rejoicing. What we see also, Andrew, is a use of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad's use of psychological warfare here. We saw the four girls, the four women, paraded in fake military uniforms, given these gift bags with certificates, which is perverse, considering that on October 7th they were dragged, bloodied, and with their hands and legs tied and dragged onto trucks in their pajamas into Gaza. So what we need to keep an eye on here, even though we are rejoicing, is that we see the continued use of psychological warfare by Hamas. And I think that the target audience here is the Israeli public and also kind of the American public opinion here, as well as the West, us included.
So that's partly about the manner in which the release happened, and I presume also is your explanation for why there is this young civilian woman who is supposed to be released today but hasn't been.
So this is also, I think, part of Hamas's psychological warfare pursuit here, where I do believe that if they had the will, they could have brought in Arbel Yehud from Palestinian Islamic Jihad. I think it's to keep everyone waiting. It's like some sort of sordid reality show.
And what should Israel's response be? Because Israel has released Palestinian prisoners today as agreed in the ceasefire deal. They have said, however, that they won't allow Palestinians back into northern Gaza, which was also part of the deal.
Exactly. So we saw today the release of 200 prisoners, as you say, about 120 of which have been convicted of life sentences for murder. And Israel has kept that part of the bargain. And I think Hamas, by withholding the extra woman civilian, they're testing the boundaries. And so Israel is responding in that, showing that Hamas not living up to the full end of the bargain has its consequences, where I think Israel is also maintaining that it will very strictly enforce the terms of this agreement.
This doesn't feel like the kind of atmosphere where further talks, phase 2 of the talks, are going to have any chance of succeeding.
Well, we need to remember that we've got 90 more hostages in Gaza, in the Gaza tunnels. And so there is that willingness on the part of Israel and also the political will to do anything that's necessary to get those hostages out. We also note, and this is something that everyone is holding its breath about, is Shiri Bibas, the mother of the two young red-headed little boys, who is still hostage with her husband and her boys. And the more that's being further put back, the more that we worry about her being alive, quite frankly. And I think, again, this is part of the psychological warfare, and that will have, I think, a huge effect on the second stage of negotiations, and indeed the third. So we need to keep an eye on how these facts on the ground and this manipulation affects Hamas and Israeli actions, because we see that Hamas's kinetic strength on the battleground is very much degraded and weakened. And so it turns to asymmetric warfare such as this, which Israel sadly needs to keep facing.
How does Donald Trump fit into the picture? Because it's widely thought that it was really his involvement that led to this ceasefire being implemented last weekend. And if he continues to tell Israel, and for that matter Hamas, that that's what he wants, then that's what's going to continue, isn't it?
Donald Trump is very crucial to this equation, I think, both within the Gaza war and with dealing with kind of the broader Iranian proxy situation. Every side believes that Donald Trump's presidency led to this agreement and to it being reached. And I think we need to see how the Trump administration reacts to these different variations of the agreement. I think Hamas is also testing the boundaries of the Trump administration. But if anyone can really encourage the sides to get this deal done, then it's Donald Trump and his administration.
Thank you very much indeed for your